Pleased to meet you. I'm XR Mews, an XR scientist cat that dives whiskers deep into the latest XR news. With me today are two of my AI co-hosts, Schrödinger 1 and Schrödinger 2. Join us in curiosity as we explore AR/VR and the many worlds of R, and make sure to always question, is the treat in the box or just the thought of it? Yeah.
VR moving at warp speed lately, right? I feel like every time I blink, there's some crazy new headset or update. So today we're going deep on HTC VIVE, specifically their VIVE Business Plus platform, the software that helps businesses manage their VR headsets and content.
And it just got a major upgrade. These updates are laser focused on the things businesses actually need, like making headset setup way easier and keeping all that VR data secure.
For sure. And get this, we might even see VR training sessions running completely offline. I've got two articles here from Knoxlabs, one about these VIVE Business Plus updates, and another about their new VIVE Focus Vision headset, which kind of ties into all this.
That new headset is slick. Definitely see why they're highlighting it now.
So if you're curious how all this impacts your business, you're in the right place. Let's jump in.
Let's do it. Those are some pretty bold claims about offline training.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But first, device management, because that seems like a biggie. This whole USB device enrollment thing caught my eye. Anything that simplifies setting up a ton of headsets at once is a win in my book.
Oh, absolutely. Especially for IT teams, this is huge. I can't even tell you how much of a pain it used to be to enroll multiple headsets. Now it's as simple as plugging it in via USB. Boom, done.
And no more tech headaches. Every minute saved on setup is a minute earned for actual training or whatever businesses are using VR for these days.
Exactly. And it gets even better. Remember how we talked about security concerns with VR? Like what happens to all that data, especially sensitive stuff? They've introduced private groups within the VR devices, plus specifically for that.
So kind of like segmenting your VR devices into different access levels.
You got it. Think of it like having a separate VR group for each department. Sales, engineering, even a super secret group for those top-level projects with restricted access. It's all about giving businesses that granular control over their VR environment.
That makes a lot of sense, especially for industries like healthcare or finance where data privacy is critical. It's like they were reading my mind and anticipated these very real concerns.
They're definitely ahead of the curve. And this next feature, this one's about making VR training way more interactive. It's called local casting.
All right, lay it on me. What's so special about local casting?
Imagine you're running a training simulation in VR, right? With local casting, you can see exactly what your trainee sees in real time, but mirrored on another device, like a monitor.
Whoa! So you can basically look over their shoulder in the VR world.
Precisely. And provide immediate feedback, guidance, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like having a virtual co-pilot right there with them, helping them through the simulation.
That's wild. It's like they're taking all the guesswork out of VR training.
Totally. And that seamless feedback loop, it's huge for improving those training outcomes.
Yeah.
But, none of this matters if you can't easily get the right VR content onto those headsets, which brings us to content management.
Right, because who wants to mess around with manually loading content onto a dozen headsets?
Nobody. And thankfully, HTC gets it. They've introduced something called remote content launch. Sounds pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, so no more running around like a tech support hotline. I'm all ears. Tell me more.
So, picture this. You're about to start a VR training session. Multiple trainees, each with their headset. With remote content launch, you can launch the same content on all those headsets simultaneously from one central location.
Wow, that's got to be a huge time saver, especially for companies that use VR training regularly. Imagine the efficiency.
Exactly. No more wasted time. Everyone's on the same page, literally ready to dive into the training. It just makes sense.
Streamlining at its finest. But wait, there's more, right? We haven't even touched on what might be the most mind-blowing update. The VIVE Business Plus console.
This is where things get really interesting. Remember how we talked about those limitations with VR, especially needing a solid internet connection? Well, HTC just threw those limitations out the window.
Hold on, did I hear that right? Offline VR management. Is that even possible?
It is now. The VIE Business Plus console is a game changer for businesses working in environments with limited or no internet access. Think construction sites, remote research facilities, even those cruise ships we mentioned earlier.
Okay, so no internet, no problem. You can still manage those VR headsets.
Exactly. You can enroll new devices, push those content updates, even manage user groups, all without needing an internet connection. It's Pretty incredible when you think about it.
That's a game changer for sure. And it opens up so many doors for industries that haven't fully embraced VR because of those connectivity limitations.
Precisely. It's all about making VR work for the business, no matter where they are or what their setup looks like.
I love it. Okay, so we've covered device management, content management, and this mind-blowing offline capability with the VIVE Business Plus console. Anything else we need to know about? Any hidden gems in these updates?
Well, they did give the VIV Business Plus interface a bit of a facelift, made it much more user-friendly.
Ah, so it's not just what's under the hood that got an upgrade, but the dashboard too.
Exactly. They've really focused on making it more intuitive and easy to navigate, even for those who aren't tech wizards. Oh, and one more thing I thought was pretty clever. They've unified the management for both the VIV Focus Vision and the older VIVE Focus 3 headsets.
Ah, so companies aren't penalized for having a mix of different headsets. Smart move.
Right. It all just gets managed seamlessly within the VIVE Business Plus platform, regardless of the model. One less headache for businesses to deal with.
They really did think of everything. But with all these updates making VR more accessible and user-friendly, it makes you wonder, what does this mean for businesses in the long run? It's true, they've really streamlined the whole VR experience for businesses, haven't they? Makes you wonder what kind of doors this will open, what people will come up with now that it's so much easier to actually use.
It's exciting to think about. We've talked about training and data security, but what about, say, healthcare? Imagine surgeons using VR for super realistic training, even in places without good internet. Or manufacturing. Technicians getting those virtual step-by-step guides for complex repairs anywhere in the world.
The possibilities are pretty much endless, especially with that whole offline management thing. It's like HTC is handing businesses a blank canvas and saying, go create something amazing.
And with these updates, they've removed those technical roadblocks that might have held businesses back in the past. It's like you said, a blank canvas for innovation.
And it's not just about those individual use cases either. Think about the potential for collaboration. Teams working together in VR no matter where they are physically. Design reviews, brainstorming sessions, even just team building exercises, all happening in a shared virtual space.
Absolutely. And none of that awkward lag or connectivity issues. They've really thought of everything to make these virtual interactions feel as natural and productive as possible.
It really highlights how much VR has evolved. It's not just a gimmick anymore. It's a legitimate business tool, and HTC is clearly leading the charge.
I totally agree. They're not just keeping up with the trends. They're setting them. They're showing the world what's possible when you combine cutting-edge technology with a deep understanding of what businesses really need.
Well said. So, to everyone listening out there, whether you're a VR veteran or just starting to explore the possibilities, one thing is clear. HTC VIVE is making some big moves to make VR more accessible and more powerful than ever before.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's an exciting time to be involved in the VR world, and I, for one, can't wait to see what they come up with next.
Same here. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the latest from HTC VIVE and the exciting world of business VR. As always, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next episode.